No,
Can you be in silent mode? If you need to, then put on unsilent. Otherwise, it will be better if you can be silent. And you can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So let's start today. Today, I think is the only class we'll have online, and then back Monday we'll have regular offline classes as per VTU circular. So today I'll
Okay,
try
sir.
to discuss the we talk about storage, what kind of variables we need. So I'll try to give you need. Why do you need a variable? Why do you need? We talked about looping. We talked about some modules. So let me try to show you simple code. I thought I already allowed everybody just a minute. Sorry, guys. So this is the code we looked at. If I run, we run the cases, my simple program, and those tried. So this is if you use the Professor Rana Day's utility, you probably compile with. So my program name is you look at polysimple.cpp, C programming, simple polynomial, and all I'm trying to do is repeat that many sites. I'll explain about this argument one, argument two. So right now, skip it for the moment. We'll get to those details later. It basically means whatever we run the program, whatever the first parameter we pass, that becomes number of sites, and whatever second parameter we pass, that becomes the length of the site. And then I'm saying repeat that many sites, forward, turn left angle, way to display, and that's what you're trying to do. So now let me run the program. If I were to say 6 sites, let's say my each side is 80, we get a simple polynomial of, as you can see, side 80, which is perfectly fine, no issues. Now let me run the same program with side 7. I'm running with side 7. Let's see what happens. Can you see there is a gap, minor gap here? Can anyone respond?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
Any regions why such a gap is? So let me go back. If I were to do poly simple 8, so this is poly 7, this is poly 8, you don't see a gap. But if I were to do even poly, let's say 9 or 10, this will still be fine. This is 10. This is perfectly fine. But now if I run with 11, I'll reduce the side so that it's seen the screen. So you see the gap when you draw the 11. You see the
Yes,
gap
sir.
when you draw the 7. Any thoughts what could be happening? This is the program. Why it is that I get the gap only with 7 and 11, but not with others? Not with 8, 9, 10, even 12, I will not get in gap. Any thoughts? Any guesses?
Sir, is it because of odd number of sides?
No, that is not the case. So let's say I were to do with, I would say, what is called, let's say 14. 14 is not odd number. Let me reduce the dimension to 50 so that you can see that. The 15 should be for, sorry, 14. So 14 is even number. But if I try with 15, it will be all right.
Sir, maybe angle.
So what could be happening? That's precisely the question I'm trying to highlight.
Angle.
This is the 14, which is an even number. This is 15, this is an odd number. And there is no gap.
Sir, because of angle and size of one side.
So what is the problem with angle? Can you tell me what is the problem with angle?
Yes, sir.
Sir, with 7, 11, I don't think you get, when you divide 360 by 7 or 360 by 11, you don't get a proper angle. You get it in terms of decimal.
Yeah, that is precisely the point. So if you look at, I'm dividing 360 by number of sides. Since it is not a perfect division, we only get the integer part. So when I divide 360 by 7, what is the number I get? I get about 51. I did it sort of in 51.4 or something of that kind. And because my angle is not proper, what happens? So I'm done. Let me draw that again. So every time it is 51, 51, 51. So unless the sum happens to be perfect 360, it won't even join. But when I try 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, it divides 360 properly, and then it becomes okay. So that means that means program differentiates between a perfect number, the perfect division, which we call integer division versus decimal. That means my division has to differentiate, am I getting an integer or am I getting a decimal? Now let me show you other program. Now what I'm doing is only difference is this. Previously it was 360. Now I said 360.0. I converted decimal number to an integer to decimal number. Now when I divide this 360.0 by n sides, I would get an angle with decimals. So now if I run the same program, Something has gone wrong, looks like. Let me see. Did I? Oh, yeah. 750. And this is perfect. So what is happening is my language supports two different kind of storage variables. One is which is a proper integer, and one is which we call as that support decimal. And those decimals which support decimals are called type floats, and those with proper integers we call them int. So I'll come and start defining, getting into details of those. But is the concept clear that in the language we need to support the differentiate between integer numbers and decimal numbers? Are we clear about that?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yeah. Now let me tell you, I'll show you another program. The minor variation of previous one. Only change happens to with this, nothing else. If you look at previous program, you see this only change would be this. I defined something here, I defined something here, and I talked about that it stores, this is storing a value up to 8 bits, this stores a value up to 32 bits. Now if I run this program polych, so let me run this program. Let's say 6 sides, side is 100, it runs perfectly fine. Now, if I were to run with 300, what do I see? Do I see a bigger side or something else? Let me run this program. See, this I'm running with size 100. This I'm running with 300, but I'm getting a smaller. Want to give me another number? I'll run with those numbers and show you even better. If I run with, let's say 280, I even get a further smaller letter. But if I run with, let's say 150, or sorry, let me not get there. I'll come back to that. Let's say 120. So 120 is much bigger than what I'm running with 300. This is with 300. Any idea what could be happening? Yeah, guys, speak up, give an idea. Some thoughts who would like to answer. Otherwise, I'm going to call out the names. Aditya.
Yes, sir.
What could be happening? 300 gives me a smaller size, whereas 100, 120 gives me bigger size. Let me ask you a question. Right now, let's say we are about 11 o'clock or 11:40, 11:45, whatever. So let's say you're level 40, what would the time be after 10 hours?
Same, no, sir. 11 only.
After 10 hours, same 11?
Wait, let me 1 second, sir.
940.
940. What has happened after 12 o'clock, we came back to 1. If it's 24-hour clock, then if you produce it, then become to 1 again. So things round off. Now you can probably realize what I'm talking about here. This I declared type as char, and I said char contains 8 bits. So what is the max value of char? When say 8 bits, what can be the max value of char? In 8 bits, what do we get? Because I've been asking you to refresh your binary powers.
255, I think.
256. 2 raised to power 8 to 256.
Yeah.
So value will range from, if all bits are 0, value becomes 0. If all bits are 1, it becomes 255. Perfect. So now if I were to draw, let's say, a polygon with a size of 256, let's see what happens. You don't see anything at all. If
Because
I were
it's
to
0 now,
draw,
sir.
yeah, so let's say I draw with kind of 265, you'll see a very small polygon. So what is happening is, because max is 255, 0 to 255, like in a clock, anything after 12 becomes 1, 2, 3, and we keep repeating. This is what we call is overflow. So in a char, because max value can be 255, anything that becomes more than 255, we will take a remainder. It overflows. So 256 would become basically 0. 257 would become 1. So if we were to say 300, 300 effectively becomes 44. So whether I draw with 44 or we draw with 300, I should get the same thing. So let me draw with 44 first. And let me draw with 300. You'll roughly see the same size. Because 300 overflows to 44. That's it. So computer does not have infinite memory. So whatever you do always has a limitation. So that means depending on what kind of information we want to store, we should always know what is the minimum, what is the maximum, what can be stored. So if I know that my value would not exceed 255, I can use a character. If it is value can be exceed 255 but less than 65,000, then I'll just use a sort. For longer values, which is 2 raised to power 32 up to 4 billion, then I can probably use an int. And even longer, I can use a sort. And that is what we can basically do. Any doubts about this part before I move on to next part?
No, sir.
Now let's look at another aspect. Does somebody has a question?
Yes, sir. What if the angle turns to the opposite side, like it doesn't make a polygon, no? So then,
Meaning, can you give me an example?
In a square, it's the closed figure. What if it's something like a step figure for 90-degree and all?
We'll come to that as well. So that depends how do you draw. Okay. So let me try to address your question. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Can you see the screen? It's a blank screen you are seeing with a PSP. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now let me draw a square, and first I draw size of 100. This is 100. Next I draw a size of 110. Next I draw a size of 120. Then I draw a size of 130. Then I draw a size of 140. So it's not a closed figure. I mean, you can assume it's my drawing problem, but so that depends upon how you draw. It's up to you. If you make the dimension differently, what will happen? And if you want to make a spiral, you can make a spiral like this. Keep incrementing it, and you'll see a spiral. Let me see if I can show you a program there. Just give me a minute. I will try to show you. Can I show you? Otherwise, I'll show this thing in the class. So let me leave that at the moment, but I can draw and show you how to make a spiral. Okay.
No, sir. My doubt was in the figure that you draw in the last slide. That is towards
Yeah.
the last segment was towards the right. What if we want it towards the left?
That we can do. Okay, let me come to it here. Okay. Let me go back. Let me draw a figure with 127. You see that figure properly? Okay, now let me draw a figure of instead of 127, let me say 129. Okay, see what happens. Do you see what is happening? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Now let me draw another figure with the number minus 127. Okay. Got that? Whether I draw with a value minus 127 or 129, I roughly get the same track. The program is the same. So if you look at the program, Program is the same, program doesn't change. My size, in one case it was minus 127, another case it was 129. So what is happening is when I say size, when this is negative, rather than going right direction, it will go the left direction. It's like a
Okay,
number 9. Okay. So if we look at what is happening, 129 is practically treated as minus 127. Is that part becoming clear? 129 is practically being treated as minus 127. And if I were to draw, let's say 240, see what happens. It is following reverse direction, but size is decreasing. Are we getting it? I'll tell you why it is happening. But did you see the impact? Anyone? I just wanted to get acknowledgement so that I know what I'm conveying is getting into your mode. Anyone like to confirm what could be happening? Nilanjana, Ananya. Are you guys there? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you see what is happening is the moment I take a value more than 127, direction becomes negative. Till 127, it is positive. After 127, it becomes negative. I can demonstrate it again. So if I do 127, it's a positive direction. But if I do anything beyond, let's say 128, you'll see direction becoming negative. So what is happening is that depends upon, so even though my number is positive, my program is making it negative. And why that happens is, let me explain that why that happens. Now, when you let's say character has 8 bits. So if I were to take 8 bits, how does my 127 would be? Can you write 127 in binary using 8 bits? The bit number 0, bit number 1, bit number 2, bit number 3, bit number 4, bit number 5, bit number 6, bit number 7.
0 and then 7 ones.
So this would be 0 here, and then you would have all ones. Correct? This is 127 in decimal. What would 128 be in decimal? It would be 1, Are we okay? This is 128. Are we getting it?
They're complements of each other.
No, there's no, it's 128. So what is happening is when you look at the implementations, integer implementation, how does my system decides whether it's a positive number or a negative number? So it looks at the most significant bit, which is this. The most significant bit, if this happens to be 1, number is treated as negative. If most significant bit happens to be 0, number is treated as positive number. So let me repeat again. In system, when the most significant bit happens to be 0, number is positive. When most significant bit is 1, number is treated as negative. Now, how do we represent that? How do we go about it, dealing with it? So if we were to look at what really is happening, let me write the number, what is called, so how do I represent -1, -2, -3, and whatever the number is? Let's take a number 5. My number 5, if I were to write as, it would be 0, and then it would have a 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. This would be number 5. We look at 4 bits here and 4 bits here. This is a positive number. Now to convert this number to say -5, we need to make this as 1. The way system implements, so one is we can simply take this minus and set it as 1 and say this is negative number. This is the one way of looking at it. This makes computations little complex. So what system does is to represent 5, whatever number it has taken, it takes the complement of this number, which is called 1's complement. That means wherever 0 occurs, make it 1, and wherever 1 occurs, make it 0. So if I were to make it 1's complement, my numbers would be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0. This is what we call is 1's complement. So when you do this, so this sign has become 1, that means number is negative. So you see this is what the number 5 would mean. For computation wise, in all our computing systems, what we use is called 2's complement. Let's say, why do we use that? Let's look at a simple case. Let's take we know that if we take a number 5 and add it to -5, we should get 0. In 1's complement, this is number 5. We know that this is -5. And this is +5. So if I were to add these numbers, everything should become 0. But when I add it, what do you get? 1 0 becomes 1. 1 0 becomes 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Everything becomes 1 and not 0. So we would like to make sure that our systems, when they add the number, whether they are, so that means I have to add 1 to it. Only when I add 1 to this, whole thing becomes 0, carry 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. and one overflow, which we can ignore. So to make it simple implementation, just to add, which is the proper answer, all system implementations, what we do is we use what is called two's complement. Let me go there. So let me clean this up. Let me start. So let's take a number 5. Number 5 is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. How to get one's complement? So two's complement. Take one's complement, add 1 to it. So if I take one's complement of this, one's complement would be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0. This is called one's complement. To get two's complement, we will add 1 to this. So when I add 1 to this, 1 bit, what would I get? This becomes 1, this becomes 1, this becomes 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and so on, so forth. Okay? So this is my two's complement. So this is minus 5. Now when you add this number with this is plus 5, let me write it 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. Let me add these two. 1 and 1 become 0. Carry with 1, 1 and 1 becomes 0. Carry with 1, 1 and 1 becomes 0. Carry with 1, everything becomes 0. I get 1 carry extra bit overflow, which we ignore. So we got the number 0. So whether I use, so even if I do 2 add negative numbers, or whether we use 2 positive numbers, 2's complements work beautifully. So if I were to take just 2 positive numbers, let's add plus 5 and plus 5, 10. Let me do that. Let me write plus 5. This is my plus 5. Let me write plus 5 again. If I add, I should get 10. This get 1 and 1, 0. Carry with 1. I get 1 here. 1 and 1, 0. Carry is 1. And then I get, which is exactly equal to plus 10. Then take another example. Let me add 2 numbers. Let's say plus 10 and minus 5. So plus 10 would be 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. What was the minus 5? If you look at takes 2's complement of 5, so my 5 was, if we take a normal 5, it was 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. I take 1's complement. 1's complement becomes 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0. I add 1 to it to get 1's complement. What I get is 1, sorry, 1, 1. What did I get here? Sorry, I think I made a mistake there. This becomes 0, 1 and 1, 0. So I'm adding 1 to it, sorry. I think I messed up. I'm adding 1's complement and 1, 2 I'm adding to this 1's complement. So 1 and 0 becomes 1. Then this becomes 1 and rest everything becomes. So this is minus 5. This is plus 10. And let me write minus 5. When I write minus 5, what will I get is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. Now, if I were to add these two numbers, I can do a simple add. And what would I get is 1, 0, that which is different color. Sorry, this was 1 here. Now, I were to add it, 0, 1 becomes 1, 1 and 1, 0, carry with 1, 1 comes here, then 1 and 1, 0, with carry 1, this becomes 0, carry 1 becomes 0, and I get 1, which is discarded. So if we look at this number, this is plus 5. So 2's complement gives you a basic property that for negative numbers, we do not have to treat separately. Whether we had negative or positive numbers, whether we had two negative numbers, whether we had two positive numbers, we automatically get the answer when we ignore the carry. And that is the reason in our number system, in our computer programming, all basic arithmetic, all the integer arithmetic is done by using what is called 2's complement. So just to repeat, integers are represented as binary numbers. The most significant bit, that is the leftmost bit, determines whether a number is positive or negative. And for negative numbers, we represent the number as 2's complement. That's what we do, as 2's complement. And what it gives you property is that whether you add two negative numbers, two positive numbers, one negative, one positive, we can simply do an addition and life becomes a lot more easier. It becomes simple arithmetic. So in our whole thing, we basically do what is called the integer arithmetic using 2's complement. Other thing we discussed, that we language need to support, differentiate between what is called integer numbers and what is called decimal numbers. Decimal numbers are represented or written using a keyword called float. So by different things, depending on the size, if I look at my integer, if I use a char as a type, it has only 8 bits. That means maximum value can only be 255. If I need an integer, which I'll define as up to 16 bits, that notation is called sort, which uses 16 bits, and maximum value can be 65535. If I want still a larger number, then we use the notation called int, which has 32 bits, and value would be up to 2 raised to power 32. Next, you still want to get longer number, then what is called long, which is 64 bits, and so on and so forth. Again, by default, when we use the terms called char, sort, int, or long, they represent what is called signed. That means value can be negative or positive. But if you want to indicate and just show that it should always be a positive number, it should never be a negative number, then we prefix these type declarations with a call unsigned. So I can write unsigned unsigned char, that means my value would range from 0 to 255. For the char in normal systems, value would range from minus 128 to plus 127. Similarly, for the sort, value would range from minus 3 to 768 to 3 to 767. So you can work out, spend your time, do a binary conversion, look at how does it work, take some positive numbers, take some negative numbers, add the two, and see if an answer is negative, it will be in 2's complement. For if answer is positive, it will be again 2's complement, means the positive numbers would have most significant bit as 0, negative number would have most significant bit as 1, and that's how the number represented. So we basically discussed the types called integer sizes, different types, and then what to use. In next class, which is going to be on Monday, we will look at how to define functions, the basic struct, and then we'll go into more language specific details. Any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, we are done for today. Any questions by anybody?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So what I'll do is I'll record it, I'll upload it as well, send you a YouTube link. Those who want to see it again can watch the YouTube video, and that should be fine. Thank you. See you on Monday.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Monday. Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, somebody has a question?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Maths ma'am said
No
we
question.
have class tomorrow, like today's timetable.
No, tomorrow no class.
Thank you, sir.
Tomorrow is supposed to be Friday timetable, but we can curfew. College-wise, there is no class. Okay. So no online, no offline. Monday onwards, we'll have regular offline classes. That's
Thank
for
you,
VTU notification.